The first card you have for your past is the Hierophant. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of things in this card. Yeah, I'm just looking at these two monks in the front of the Hierophant, and it's almost as if they're guarding him. They're not letting anyone come close to him. They're not letting anyone past. And the Hierophant can be about, sometimes it can be about rules, strict religion and hierarchy and all of that kind of thing. I think you might have come to a point in your life where you weren't just guarding yourself. It was like you were thinking, you might have been thinking something like, from now on, if you want to talk to me or come close to me, it's a privilege. You have to earn that privilege. I'm not just going to let you close to me. That's the kind of thing I'm getting around this card. And I'm just seeing you becoming just so fed up with people who weren't genuine that you just had enough of them. And I just think, you'd had so many of these either dishonest or insincere people around you that unless they were able to prove themselves to you in some kind of way, you just weren't letting them near you. Because the Hierophant, for the Hierophant to be in the position that he's in, he'd have to rise up through some sort of hierarchy. He had to rise up through the ranks. Like when you have the church, you have bishops and then you have whatever else. You have monks and bishops and whatever else you have. And up at the very top, and then you have the Pope up at the very top. So he would have had to have rise up through all these other levels to get to where he is. And so what you're saying is that anyone who wants to come close to you has to prove themselves. Not that you had to give people tests or whatever, but it was just that you had to make sure that they were the sort of person you wanted near them. You'd had enough of these people and giving them all of these chances, and they weren't the people who you wanted around you. And that might sound a bit snooty, it might sound a bit aloof or whatever, and maybe this is how some of these people were seeing you, but your state of mind and even your mental health were more important to you than how all of these other people saw you. And if this resonates, you'll probably end up with a lot fewer friends. But I think you're prepared for that to happen. I think that's fine for you, because I think in the past you probably would have kept all kinds of people around you, all kinds of friends, whether they were good or bad or what. But I think, after giving people chance after chance after chance, something had to change. Enough was enough. That's what I'm seeing in that card. The next card you have your past is the Two of Pentacles. So yes, this is why I think there were people around you and you were just feeling really drained by them. You were just drained by them. They weren't adding anything positive to you. They were just taking from you. Maybe not literally. I'm not saying taking things, or they might have been taking things, but they were taking your energy. They were just taking how you were feeling, and they just didn't care about you. They just cared about themselves. And I think for a long time you felt as if you had to sort of accommodate a lot of these people. I'm seeing things like, people insisting they had to go along with whatever they wanted, whether you wanted to or not. And I think when you went along with something that wasn't that important to you, it was fine. But I think some people were expecting you to kind of change your whole moral compass or your mindset to go along with what they wanted. Just going back to the Hierophant for a minute, it can be about strict morals as well. And it's not that you have these super strict religious ideals or morals or anything like that. You might have, but I think these are about things that were important to you, that meant a lot to you. Everyone carries around this kind of moral code almost. It's like, oh, I'd never do that. I always treat people in this way, and I always do this, and doing this is something I'd never do, but this is something I might do. So everyone's kind of where they are, and this is where you were. But I think there are things that, if you compromised on these things, it really wouldn't sit well with you. It's just a feeling. It's a feeling that you were getting with some of these people. And it was not just the fact that they wanted you to compromise, it was the fact that your ideas and your ideals didn't seem important to them. Only theirs seemed important to them. They were like, well, I don't care how you feel or what you think. This is how I feel, and you have to go along with what I want. It's that kind of thing. And they might not have said that right to you like that, but that's the feeling you are getting around a lot of these people. And I'm just looking at this infinity symbol as well. And I'm seeing that, you just couldn't bear the thought of this going on in your life forever, having these people in your life forever and ever, draining you and taking from you. You just had to put a stop to this. So if this is resonating, I'm really, really glad you did, because I'm just getting this feeling of, that some of these people are really starting to erode your sense of self and erode your sense of self-worth and your kind of code, your moral code and all of that kind of thing. And it's really, really not good. It really is not on. And even that people would think to do that to you is just not, they're not the people you want around them. I mean, I would never think to, if I have one idea about something and another person has another one, I'd never come and force them on you and say, oh, you have to believe in what I believe in and you have to do this because it's what I want, because I know it's not what you want. I have my way of things and other people have theirs. We can still be friends. But, I never force myself. I'd never force things on other people. And I think that was what was happening with you. So the last card you have, your past, is the Wheel of Fortune. So, yeah, obviously with big changes like this that I'm seeing that you're making and you're going through, there are going to be beginnings and endings of cycles, life cycles almost. It's like you were about to lose some people, of course, and even though they weren't the right people to have around you, it's not always easy to adjust to these changes. It's difficult to get used to this. And you're going through some emotional ups and downs because of all of this kind of thing, because of these decisions you were making. Now, that didn't mean that you wanted them all back in your life again. It just meant that you were trying to adjust to all of that. And yeah, there will be some new people coming into your life as well. If you look at this wheel, it turns around. It's kind of turning around in a cycle. And, this wheel turns downwards. And as it does that, if you can imagine this wheel turning downwards and people kind of dropping off the side and falling down and falling off. And then as it comes back around again, back up again into another cycle, it picks up some people and it brings them up again to you. And so new people are going to come up into your life. I'm also seeing some new love coming in. But, you still have this gate up that I was seeing in the Hierophant, and the gate isn't permanently closed all the time, but it's like you just have to make sure security approves of the people that come in the gate or who want to come in the gate. I know that's probably a silly analogy, but that's what came into my mind, so I hope that makes sense. I know I'm being a bit silly and crazy. I'm very tired. The first card you have for your present is the Emperor. Yeah, so yeah, there is going to be new love coming in. I think there might be someone who's a bit older than you. I'm seeing this person might be around study or work. I think they're in some position of, maybe not authority, but I think they might be in a role where they're teaching people, might be that. And, if you're single, of course, I think this person's going to bring a lot of positivity into your life if you let them into your life. Again, there might be an age gap, and I think they're going to be the older one. That's what I'm seeing. Now, if this is, yeah, this is really interesting. This is what I'm seeing in this card. This is really interesting because you really, really work to remove some of these dominating people out of your life. And this person's really headstrong. This is like a really headstrong, not bossy, but they're kind of, I know I'm right, all of that kind of thing. They have a fun side as well. They're also very, very, very honest. I'm not seeing any sort of dishonesty or insincerity coming from this person at all. They might be an Aries, actually. I think, when you first meet this person, you might not actually have a very good impression of them. You might even think that this is the last person you'd ever be interested in. You might think, oh, they're really, they're loud and they're opinionated. They think they know everything and they're older and I don't really... but if this all resonates and you take the time to get to know this person, they're going to be an asset to you. They're going to be an asset to you and they're going to be an asset to your life. That's what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing a lot of freedom around this person. I don't know if this is going to make sense. I'll just try and tell you what I mean by that. They like to be free. They don't like anyone telling them what to think, what to say, what to do. They also like other people to have the same kind of freedoms, the same kind of autonomies that they like for themselves. And that includes you, of course, if you get close to this person. They'd never force you to change. They'd never force you to go along with them, because nobody could ever force them to change themselves. So they want to offer that same kind of freedom and autonomy to the people who they love. So again, if you're single, and if you come across this loud, opinionated person, give them a chance. That's what I'm seeing. Give them a chance. The next card you have for your present is the Three of Pentacles. So again, I'm seeing this person around work or around studying. Often I see this card as the work card. I don't know if they're going to be a new colleague of yours, or if they're going to be a new client, if you run a business or something like that. They're in some kind of teaching role. I keep on seeing that. And I think, if you do get to know this person, they're going to be a really good asset in other ways as well, not just emotionally, but I think they have a lot of experience in something like, finances or money, something around that area as well. And not just managing money on a small scale. This is large scale wealth that they have knowledge about, investments, big investments, that kind of thing. So I think that even though they're the sort of person who thinks they're right all the time, they actually do have a lot of knowledge that would really be helpful to you, and they'd be free. Again, I'm seeing this freedom around this. They're free with this knowledge, and they're very open with this knowledge. And if you're someone they like, if you're someone they choose to be around, they're totally open, and they like to share everything they know with the people they love. They're not closed off at all. They're like, I know this, I want to share it with everyone I love. I want to make sure you know this too. So they're a great person to have around in that way as well. The last card you have for your present is the Three of Wands. So I'm seeing a lot of freshness, newness, and I'm seeing a lot of positivity in this card as well. It's like, you're expecting good things because you've been through this horrible thing of letting go of these people, and now you're kind of like, oh, they're all gone. I'm expecting new things now. And I think, I don't want to sound cringy, but often when you expect good things, that's what comes to you. Not all the time, obviously. But I think in this card, you might have put a lot of work into something. I don't know whether this is a side business or something like that, but I don't think it's where your main focus is. I think this is a side thing. I think you have a main thing you work on, and this thing's at the side. I think you might be in some kind of partnership as well. And there's something around this that you'd put a lot of work in already, and you'd finish that work. Maybe you had to apply for something. Maybe you had to apply for some kind of license or something like that, something legal. And I think you've done all of this. There was a lot of paperwork, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun process at all. I hate paperwork. I can totally understand that. I think the worst of this is all over now, and you're just in the waiting stage. And the result that you want is going to come in. It is going to come in. You've done everything properly, and it's going to come in. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is that, if you are in some sort of partnership, and if there are three people in this partnership, which is what I'm seeing in this card, one of you is probably going to eventually leave this partnership. I'm not seeing any fights. I'm not seeing any fallouts or anything like that. I'm just not seeing their role as being necessary in the future. Now, there are two wands next to the man on this card. He's holding on to one of them, but if you look at the other one, it's behind all of the others. And that's what I'm seeing. This person's going to be behind everyone else, not in a bad way, but they're just going to realize, my skills aren't going to be needed anymore. Everyone's ahead. What I have to contribute isn't really needed. It's fine. I'm happy to say goodbye. I'm happy to just leave it as it is, and I'm happy for them to carry on. So, again, there's not going to be any hard feelings or anything like that around this separation. I'm getting a lot of positive feelings from this card, so it's going to be fine. But that's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have for your future is the Eight of Wands. So yeah, there's a car starting up. I can't even say car starting up. That's how tired I am. Go away. So yeah, I think once this result comes in, this result that I was seeing in the Three of Wands that you were waiting for, and it will come in, it will be positive. Once this comes in, I think things are really going to start to move really, really quickly for you. Really, really quickly. I think there are a lot of things around this project or this business, whatever this is, that you've had on hold for a long, long time, and you couldn't do anything because you're waiting for this result, and it was some kind of legal thing, some kind of license, and when you had that come through and it was all above board, then you can go ahead with these things. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this taking a lot of time from you. You might even have to take some time off from your regular job or whatever you do normally to be able to do this. I'm seeing this growing really quickly at the start. But don't be discouraged down the road, because I think there's going to be a lot of action and a lot of enthusiasm in the beginning and excitement and all of that in the beginning. But then things are going to slow down after a while. So try not to be discouraged if this resonates, because I think this fast pace that I was seeing happening in the beginning of all of this is sort of an unrealistic pace to keep up in the long term, if that makes sense. So just ride these ups and downs. With any kind of business, with anything like that, there are ups and downs all the time in everything you do. So expect these ups and downs. Just go with the flow of them. When this thing slows down, don't think of it as a failing. Don't start panicking and say, oh no, we're failing, we're going down. Sometimes things like this, they shoot up really quickly, and then things need to naturally kind of readjust themselves into a more, a natural pace of things. I hope that makes sense. If you're starting a business and this is resonating with you, then you'll know exactly what I mean. So the next card you have for your future is the Two of Cups. So yes, beautiful. I think this person in the Emperor card is a really, really, really good match for you. I think you probably seem to be complete opposites on the surface. You're going to think that as well when you first see them. I know that. I'm getting a sort of inner understanding and an inner knowing forming between you as you get to know each other, if you let them. This is a feeling, this is a really strong feeling that I'm getting. I'm seeing this kind of automatic understanding between you without having to say anything, if that makes sense. I'm actually seeing you giving each other a look, and you both immediately understand what the other person's thinking or feeling. That's what I'm seeing. It's really nice. So yeah, this is a really special connection. And if you've just met someone, who's a bit opinionated and who doesn't seem to be your type at all in the beginning, again, give them a chance. And yeah, this is someone who thinks they know it all sometimes. They're a big know-it-all, they really are. But I am seeing a special bond. This is one person who you should open the gates to, that I'm seeing in the Hierophant. Open the gates to them. Open the gates. The last card you have for your future is Judgment. So this is sort of, this sort of brings me back to the beginning of this reading, actually. I think you're still going to be going through this process of moving forward and moving some people out of your life as well and getting back into this balance again. And I think you will eventually come around to forgiving some of these people. And that doesn't mean you agree with their actions or whatever, of course. It just means that you're eventually going to be a lot more at peace around all of this. And yeah, I've got a siren. See, every little sound drives me crazy. So yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of it. This is a fantastic reading, actually, because I think this whole reading is really showing me that, you're really at a huge turning point in your life. there's a lot of negativity leaving you and a lot of positivity coming in. And I think this is partly because you're putting the work in to understand yourself. It's not like you've just been going around blaming other people in the process and saying, oh, you're bad, you're out, I don't want you anymore, you're bad, you're wrong. It's not like that. You've been examining yourself, and that's why the outcome's going to be so positive for you, because you've been doing the work on yourself and you understand yourself and you understand the relationships between you and those people and everyone else and kind of all of that kind of thing. So, of course, it's not going to be perfect, nothing is, but you've definitely moved out of a negative cycle and you've moved into a more positive cycle. And I hope after this reading I move into a positive cycle, because these noises are driving me crazy.